Hey, good evening, South Mississippi. Chief Meteorologist Eric Jeansonne here. We'll do a quick update on the forecast across South Mississippi. Overall, things compared to the last few days have been a little bit more unsettled across the area. We've seen more in the way of showers and thunderstorms, and this morning we had some pretty rowdy thunderstorms, and we even had a few viewer photos sent in earlier today. Check out this photo by coast photographer Jason Taylor, one of the many talented photographers here on the coast. Took a really nice shot of this thunderstorm in Long Beach. Lots of lightning strikes and lightning bolts with that particular storm. When we see those lightning strikes touch the ground there, we call that cloud to ground lightning. But when you zoom in on the picture, you get a really good idea of how many branches there are to each little lightning strike. So definitely some rowdy storms this morning. Maybe you woke up to some rumbles of thunder. We could certainly use the rain here in South Mississippi. Things have been abnormally dry, at least for August standards on the Gulf Coast. Yesterday, we had a few thunderstorms pop up over Jackson County, and those produced what is known as a pileus cloud or a pileus cloud. It's also known as a cap cloud, or sometimes referred to as a scarf cloud, and you can sort of see why when you look at this photo sent in by Drew Edgecombe. So he was in D'Iberville looking off towards the east, towards Jackson County, and you could see this giant cumulonimbus cloud building as that thunderstorm was growing over Jackson County. Well, when you get a pileus cloud, it's usually what happens is as that rising air from the cumulonimbus cloud encounters a layer of thin clouds developing on top of the cumulonimbus, it kind of folds the cloud over onto the top of the cloud. So you sort of get like, it looks like a blanket or maybe a scarf or maybe a cap. And so that's where that phrase cap cloud comes from. So that was a really interesting photo sent in from Drew. He also sent another close-up shot as the cap cloud was beginning to organize. You could see the actual cloud kind of folding over the top of the cumulonimbus out there. Another shot of the same storm out of Ocean Springs. This was sent in by Jacob Jones on the WLOX weather app. Again, if you're ever sending us photos, we appreciate it when you send it to us on social media or email, but really the best way to send them to us is through the WLOX weather app. That's where we get the notifications that we've got an actual photo in, and it's the easiest way for us to download and share with the rest of everyone else on the coast. But here's another example of that cap cloud, and this was visible in Ocean Springs looking off towards the east. So this morning we had some pretty rowdy storms, but if you notice, when you look at the 24-hour radar estimated rainfall, what do you notice? Well, you see most of the heavy rain fell just off the coast. That's where the heaviest storms were. There were some spotty areas that picked up a little bit more in the way of showers, especially further inland, but for the most part, today, the majority of the heavy storms fell out over the water. And looking at the radar right now, we've seen some heavier storms, even a severe thunderstorm warning earlier around Laurel, just north of Hattiesburg. That has since weakened as we see that tropical moisture continue to surge further inland. In fact, when you look at the big picture over the Gulf, there's a lot of unsettled weather off the coast of Texas, off the coast of Louisiana, and that has been persisting over the past couple of days. We've seen this upper level low that's not tropical move west over Texas, and on the east side of that, we've seen lots of moisture surging towards the Gulf Coast. It's not completely out of the question that we could see maybe an area of low pressure try to organize off the Texas and Louisiana coastline as we head towards the weekend. Right now it's dealing with some wind shear, but the wind shear may actually weaken just a little bit as we head towards the next couple of days or so. And regardless if anything tries to organize or not, it appears that the main concern will be some heavy rain, especially over southeastern Texas, southwestern Louisiana. Right now it looks like South Mississippi sort of on the edge of where the heaviest rainfall could occur over the next 24 to 72 hours, over the next 3 to 5 days or so. So here's what it looks like on Futurecast, and Futurecast is hinting at maybe just a broad, weak area of low pressure kind of meandering over the western Gulf. That could lead to some heavy rain in those locations. Of course, here in South Mississippi, we could use the additional rainfall, and we will have those opportunities it just appears that perhaps maybe the heaviest rain will fall to our west. Looking outside now, things are a little gloomy out there, and the benefit of the cloud cover is that we are seeing temperatures in the 80s right now, 86 at the airport in Gulfport. Tomorrow morning, we're waking up, there could be some coastal showers and thunderstorms like what we saw this morning. And as we go into the afternoon, pretty much the same thing, hit and miss showers and storms. I don't think everybody gets heavy storms tomorrow, but if you do, it'll put down some locally heavy rain, some gusty winds, and of course some lightning as well. So here's a look at futurecasts in the morning. Temperatures starting out in the 70s. As we go throughout the day, we'll climb into the 90s. Where we don't see the showers and storms, that's where we could see those temperatures climbing into the mid-90s. And of course, the heat index values will be in the 100 to 105 degree range, maybe a little bit higher at times. All right, so a quick update on the tropics. We sort of talked about the tropics a little bit over the Gulf, but we are keeping an eye on this one area that the National Hurricane Center has highlighted and has given a low chance for developing over the next 2 to 7 days. It's this tropical wave well east of the Lesser Antilles. Not much to it right now, and we don't expect any rapid development with this, as it will be slow to get organized and move off towards the west. And if you also notice, we see a pretty robust tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa. So we are pretty much in the peak of hurricane season, and between now and the beginning of October, that's generally when we see about 85% of our tropical systems that form in the Atlantic Basin during hurricane season. So we are starting to get into the real part of when we typically see storms developing. So that's why we're going to keep an eye on everything that we see out there, including this area of disturbed weather out of the Gulf. But we are starting to see, at least temporarily, some of that convection with those storms beginning to deteriorate. All right, so again, as we go into the weekend, of course, big weekend, Labor Day weekend, Monday. Each day will have that opportunity for hit and miss showers and storms. It doesn't necessarily look like a washout, but I certainly would have some backup plans if you're planning some beach time or some outdoor activities into the weekend, early next week. Just make sure you have a backup plan just in case some of those showers and thunderstorms decide to pay you a visit. So we'll keep an eye on those rain chances. We'll keep an eye on the tropics, and of course, you can always get the latest forecast on the WLOX weather app. You can also download, if you don't have it, on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. And of course, we will have the latest forecast coming up tonight at 10 o'clock on WLOX.